Hi. So if this is the first time you're watching my videos, please subscribe and like this video. This is my name is Alberto. I have this channel. Usually I do my videos in Spanish, and a lot of people ask me why I do my videos in Spanish. The Hispanic community has a big issue with, specifically with misinformation, information that is provided to them by the only channels that are out there that are all oriented to one side of the political spectrum. Those channels are Telemundo, Univision, Guapa, and Mega TV, and many other channels that are Hispanic that are totally in Spanish, but they only go to one side of the political spectrum. About 2 years, a little bit over 2 years ago, almost 2 years and a half, I decided to do live streamings through Facebook and grow and show people the truth in the Hispanic side about what's really happening, how they lie, and all that. They not only lying to the Hispanic people, but they also, lying to a lot of people in the American side, in English. But in English, you have all the channels, you got all the people communicating and at least fighting this battle of the misinformation and lies. And that's why I decided at that time to, do a channel in Spanish and usually do my videos in Spanish. And I know a lot of my followers that don't understand English very well. I'm not going to be too happy about this video. And I understand. But I think this video, I have to do it in totally in English because I want to make a point, a very important point about how the media and all these political guys and girls like Hillary and many others keep lying to the American people and confusing and mixing information to get them to believe and feel something that they want you to believe and all feel. So I believe this is Rachel Maddow in MSNBC, and Hillary was there, and they were talking about this hypothetical, like created Democrat candidate, it's a scenario trying to make it believe like if the Democrat have done this, and but the way that they portray it is a complete lie, mixing information. So what I want to do now is I want to go through the video and I want to explain part by part where they mixing information and where are they lying to you and why they lying to you. So let's go to the video. Let's set up the video here and let's go with the video. Okay.
And the Republicans look at the Trump White House and say, well, the Russians probably did help them,
Okay. So, the Russians maybe did help them, right? The reality here is that there's evidence now, physical evidence, that who really helped the Russians were the Democratic Party. There is a Russian dossier that right now is filled with misinformation that was paid by the Democratic Party. And no one has investigated this. And there's actual evidence that there's money going from Perkins Coie to Fusion GPS, then to Christopher Steele, that went to created and contacting information from Russians, supposedly. Information that was different or against Russian Donald Trump. So in reality, there is actual evidence that whoever did any conspiracy with any Russians right now was Christopher Steele, and Christopher Steele is basically what? An MI6 agent that was contracted by the Democrats. So there's no physical evidence, right, that Trump colluded with Russia, only those contacts. And now I'm going to put in context everything they're going to say here in the video, because it's very important that we understand where they lying, where they mixing information. So we confuse the they confuse the American people that don't understand what happened. So let's continue with the actual video.
Whatever extent we may not yet know. So we're not going to go there. We're going to do what they tell us. Imagine, Rachel, that you had one of the Democratic nominees for 2020 on your show. Mm-hmm. And that person said, you know, the only other adversary of ours who's anywhere near as good as the Russians is China. So why should Russia have all the fun? And since Russia is clearly backing Republicans.
Okay, and here's another lie. Russians clearly backing Republicans. That's not true. The Russians actually, in the indictment, if you read the indictment, you see, this is the problem. People don't read. If you actually read the indictments from Robert Mueller, in various occasions, these Russians said they were trying to create discourse in our political spectrum, in our political life. They actually helped Jill Einstein. They actually try to send people to support Hillary. They actually created like situations in where they have both groups in the same place. This is part of the indictment. This is no lies. This is things that you could actually read. And this is where we have the majority of the problems in this country, in which we do not read. We do not get educated. We let people tell us what to think. It tell us how to think and when to think that way. And that's the problem. Instead of doing that, we should be more educated and learn and research the things that we don't, sometimes don't research. And here's the problem. In those indictments, I have read them, it says clearly that the Russians were not only helping one side, they were actually trying to create political discourse in our political system. The indictments actually said it, and it says that it helps other sides. And then if you look at the actual evidence of what we already have of, Democratic Party paying Perkins Coie, then paying Fusion GPS, and then paying Christopher Steele to get dirt on Trump. And now there's also evidence that's saying that DNC contacted Ukraine to try to get dirt on Trump too. We got two foreign countries interfering in our election, and it's completely the opposite of what they've been telling us, of what they've been trying to say, okay, on the internet. And it's important that we understand this. It's important that we look at the actual evidence, indictments, actual evidence of political, finding a political group finding dirt, and it was not against Hillary, it was against Trump. So what they accusing the other side is what they did. So now let's continue the video.
Why don't we ask China to back us?
I hereby tonight ask China.
That's right. And not only that, China, if you're listening, why don't you get Trump's tax return?
Okay, so here's the scoop. And this is where they mix the information. And this is important that we as an American understand the difference between what was Hillary's email server and what was the DNC hack. These two things cannot be mixed, because if they get mixed, then they confuse the American people. And it's important because that's what they do here. Listen to what Hillary says in this video, trying to create a circumstance like both things are related.
I'm sure our media would richly reward you. Now, according to the Mueller report, that is not conspiracy because it's done right out in the open. So if after this hypothetical Democratic candidate says this on your show, within hours, all of a sudden the IRS offices are bombarded with incredibly sophisticated cyber tools.
Okay, so let's stop there. She's saying this because after Trump said to publicly. Russians, if you're listening, if you have the additional 33,000 emails that were deleted, and this is where things are different, right? And I'm going to explain why they're different. The 33,000 emails that were deleted, the American people and the media will be very happy if you got them and you find them. Then after that, basically they saying that the DNC was trying to be hacked again, and that doesn't make sense, and I'm going to explain the reason why right now. But let me finish the video, and I'm going to explain the difference between both scenarios and why it's different. I'm going to explain it step by step.
Looking for Trump's tax returns and then extracts them and then passes them to whatever the new WikiLeaks happens to be.
Now, and extract them and pass them to the new WikiLeaks, that whatever it happens to be, right? So let's stop there. The DNC, the Democratic National Committee, was hacked based on our intelligence community by Russians. Those hacks happened way before Trump became the presidential candidate. When Trump won the candidacy, that's when they started announcing that they were going to release those emails. They were telling Hillary to get off the campaign because they were going to release. This announcement started happening since March. Since March 2016. So we could put this in perspective. WikiLeaks announced in March that they were going to release these emails. This lies that Trump knew about it, that they were in contact. This is all lies. That was public information in Twitter. Since March, they're making this announcement. You could go to the WikiLeaks page, if it hasn't been blocked, in Twitter, and see these tweets. Again, this is about finding the truth, finding the information, reading, investigating. Don't let other people tell you what happened, okay? So let's put this in perspective. Since March 2016, WikiLeaks is announcing these leaks of information that they have from the DNC emails. Now, Hillary, in the other side, had her own email server at home. Has nothing to do with the hack that happened on the DNC. And this is where they mix in both information to try to confuse the American people. Benghazi happened. When Benghazi happened, they asked Hillary for her emails to investigate why was nothing done in Benghazi. What happened in reality in Benghazi, right? That was the reason why they asked Hillary for their email. When she couldn't provide those emails, when she couldn't say, okay, here's all the emails in the Department of State, that was when she was what? The Secretary of State. That has nothing to do with the DNC emails. That's why they're mixing things to confuse you as an American person, as a listener. They're not related. They're not related, people. They are two different items. Emails hacked to Podesta and people that work on DNC, and the emails from the Hillary server are two different things. The Hillary email server was found during the investigation of Benghazi because they wanted to know what happened. At that point, a subpoena and legal process started requesting Hillary to provide that server and those emails for that investigation. Has nothing to do with the hack at the DNC. It has nothing to do with WikiLeaks. During that process, emails were deleted. Emails that were subpoenaed. Servers were erased. Backups were erased. Devices were destroyed. During the investigation of Hillary email server. During the campaign, Trump makes the comment and publicly says, if you have those emails that were deleted from Hillary's email server, right? We, the people and the media, will be very happy if you find them. Has nothing to do with the hack of the DNC. That's why when you say sophisticated hackers trying to access the DNC, makes no sense, because the DNC didn't have those emails from Hillary that were in a server. Now, if they tried to hack the backup company, if they trying to hack, I don't know, anyone that had those emails, that makes a difference. But they were not. They were hacking supposedly the DNC when the DNC has nothing to do with the 33,000 emails that Donald Trump requested to be found, that we all want to see why they were deleted. And this is where they mix information to confuse the American people. The DNC hack and the email server, two different events, not related. They mix them to confuse you as an American person and try to tell you how to think and how to feel, right? Trump requested the 33,000 emails from the server at Hillary's house. It has nothing to do with WikiLeaks. It has nothing to do with the DNC hack that happened way before. Even the email server happened way before Trump. The Benghazi scenario happened way before Trump. And this is where it's very easy to confuse someone out there that don't know this information, that don't understand the difference between one scenario and the other. And then you see, when you try to mix these things and you say, well, but you know, it's Trump, we don't care. Seriously? You don't care that they keep lying to you, that they keep mixing information, that they're not telling you the full story behind this. They're not telling you the full story behind the indictments. Come on, man. This you have to be a complete fool if you want to believe the media and these stories. Honestly, it makes me feel sorry. Very sorry for those that believe the media and companies like this one that do not tell you the full story behind everything. Don't tell the full story behind Ukraine and all other things. So I hope you share this video. I hope that this video has been informative for you, so you understand that there's a huge difference between what is the DNC hack and the email server at Hillary Clinton's house. That one that we know to this point hasn't been hacked, quote unquote, right? The DNC server was hacked. So it's a big difference between both scenarios that she's mixing in here to confuse you as an American person. Please subscribe to my channel, like my channel, and support our channel the best that you can. I see you on my next video.